Alright, so I've gone ahead and cut off the rough edge of my paper, and you can use magazine paper, newspaper, construction paper. I'm going to cut half-inch slits, and you don't have to measure, you can just kind of guess, judging based on mine. You can do them smaller, but the smaller the slits are, the harder it is to do. I think half-inch is a good size. And you'll see that I'm not cutting all the way across the paper. I'm basically making a fringe, if you can think about it that way. And I'll just go along and cut all of the slits that I'll need in this paper, and I make sure to not cut all the way through. I stop about an inch away from the edge of the paper. And it's okay if they're not perfect. They don't have to be perfectly even. You won't notice it as much once you go to weave it. Now you'll see on mine, I have an image on both sides. So I'm actually going to use just one side of the image, but if I flipped it over, I could see the other one. And just to recap, we're basing this project off of Navajo trading blankets, Indian trade blankets. So those geometric designs and bright colors. We're not going to do anything too fancy. But once you have your paper cut, go ahead and grab a piece of tape and tape it down. That makes sure it doesn't move. It makes it easier for you. Don't press too hard. Don't want to wreck your paper, but just hard enough that you won't move your paper around. And I'll take a color of my choice, a colored strip of paper, either ones that are pre-cut or one that you cut. And you're going to weave it through the paper. So you start with one side, and you either go over or under that side, and then you just go back and forth with the slits. And eventually it will make a checkerboard pattern. Now I use my glue to glue the red paper to my cut slits. So I only glue where the slit falls on top of the red paper. And this will just keep it in place. If I didn't glue it, it could slide out or fall out. It makes it harder for you. So if you glue it down, it makes it more permanent. And then for my next strip, I will do the opposite of what I did with the first strip. So if it was under the strip before, then I go over. Same thing. Just opposite. And I slide it up and make sure that it's the opposite, that it's making a checkerboard. That's how you can double check. And just to show you, I'm only using a small dot of glue. A dot is a lot. If you use too much, it'll make it kind of a mess and it'll stick to the table. We don't want that. Just a tiny, tiny bit of glue. You can press down, make sure that it stays in place. And I'm speeding it up just to save you some time. And I basically just go back and forth between going under that first strip and over that first strip. So going back and forth, it makes a checkerboard pattern. And I always glue. Make sure to remember to glue before you move on. It's a lot harder to glue. You have to take it all apart. All right, and my last strip, make sure you glue this one down really good because it's likely to fall out if you don't glue it well enough. You'll see that on the other side, there's some strips that are loose, so I'm going to glue those strips. I'm going to show you where that is. It's right there, so underneath. So that's one difference. You don't do that with the other ones. You just do it with the last strip at the bottom. This will make sure that it really stays together at the bottom. It won't come apart. This glue dries pretty quickly, so make sure you work pretty fast. Don't glue something down unless you for sure want it there. You can press it down, make sure it lays flat, and you've got kind of a woven rug design. You can gently lift it up. I just folded my tape over, but you can cut it off or gently pull it off if you can. And you'll see that I have a different design on each side then because I had a different image on each side. And one last step is to write your name so I can figure out whose is whose. Even if you don't finish, go ahead and write your name somewhere so I can see it. And you're done.